Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Brendan Rodgers said last night, when Celtic go out, they go out to win. Yes, they normally do, and we haven't got clicking this season, he says. But when you look at it, when you look at what he said in the press conference yesterday, I think every game is to win. When we go out, we want to win every single game. We'll do our very, very best to do that. That's one of the things I've always said when you come here, that you want to be the team that's hard to play against. When this team is at its best, is when the club is. Of course, it's very difficult at the moment. Are we really putting? I don't want to talk about the off-field stuff, but the level of the player that's been brought in. Surely they have to step it up tonight, and if they don't step it up tonight, I don't think that it should just be the manager that's then questioned, and I don't think that it's the players themselves that should be questioned, because the players that have came in are of a standard. Now, whether they're as good or as fast, Brendan Rodgers is talking about the fact that we don't have the pace that we had in the team before. Well, surely that's one of the things that you look at for a player when he does come into the club. Let me just do a quick poll. Do you think that we can win the game tonight? I think we can. I think it's at Celtic Park. We've won against Austrians at Celtic Park before. It's not an away game. You need to win your away games in Europe. So the poll question is this morning: can we win the game tonight? Straight off the bat, 83% say yes, 24% said no, and it's going down and changing every minute as we've now got 25 votes in within the first second of the poll. So yeah, it's well that past time for players to grow up here. Says Claire, yeah, it is past. Start Sinisalo, please. I don't think there's going to be massive changes like that tonight. I think there will be changes in the playing staff on the pitch. But listening to Brendan Rodgers, he's not overly convinced with the players that he's been left with at his disposal. We've got to just get on with what we've got here. So there has to be a change of formation. Brendan Rodgers has to change the formation tonight so that we play to the positives of the player and the players that we have. Now, if it's not fast attacking football, what is then the formation that we play? Need to start quickly to pile on the agony. Piling on the agony. We've never done that for a while. Jesus God. Yeah, so getting back to it, Liam Scales and Brendan Rodgers, when you analyse the interviews yesterday, and Brendan Rodgers says, but for me to win every single game, you don't understand the consequences. A lot of the players don't understand the consequences if you don't win every single game. And that's a mindset thing that these players that have came in the summer, they've maybe been at teams before where it's okay to drop 1 or 2 points in 1 or 2 games. I know it's not a big deal. We've got the rest of the season to go. Not at Celtic. You don't have that. But that wasn't always the case. We didn't expect to win every single game. For us to compete in the Europa League, says Brendan, we want to get up and running. We want to get a level of performance that can inspire the confidence. And I think that was one of the big... He knows that he needs to inspire the confidence of the fans. Brendan Rodgers knows that the team is not inspiring the confidence of the fans. And with that, the fans not having the confidence in the board does make it quite difficult for everyone involved. He said, in every which way, to give a better feeling to the supporters off the pitch, that's what we want to do. We want to give that little bit of confidence to the players, to the fans. Can we do that this evening? Can we really do that this evening? Do these players have it in them to up the pace, to get the goals that's required? When you look at the chances that we've had, I think it comes more down to shots on target. The shots on target tally is what is woeful. with Celtic at the moment. I mean, we're having shots on goal. It's just not very good shots on goal. Hopefully tonight is one of those nights where we do get a lot of shots on target. I'm not going to go for a big goals tally because I don't think that we've got the goals tally in us for some reason. I think that a win tonight would give us a lift, says Helen. I think it would give everyone a lift, but would it be just papering over the cracks, as some in the media like to think? All the summer did was paper over the cracks of what we've known has been going on at Celtic. A win tonight, would that just be delaying things, or would it really be a kick start of the season? Do you know, we said against Dundee that was really a restart. After the international break, that was a restart. You were kind of hoping that Brendan Rodgers and the backroom staff would just work their magic. And I've been saying for a while, why aren't they training against a low block? You know, it's okay training to play a certain style of football so that you can dominate the game. But when you're not dominating the game, you need to be able to change that formation so that you can go, right, they're not interested in coming out. We can play side to side all we want. We can make 700 or 800 passes. That doesn't mean anything in the bigger picture. It looks good, you know, for anybody that's a stat person. You know, I looked at the pass percentage for the Barcelona game the other night, and the pass percentage was at 91%, and they won 6-1. Celtic pass rate is around about 91% on every game. Now, I'm not comparing this team to Barcelona, obviously. I'm just comparing the stats. Statistically, Celtic aren't too far off it. Thanks for Mike Powers coming in from the good old USA super chat. $9.99. Hope you're good this morning because it's very early in the morning with you, mate. But when you look at those kind of stats, and this is what's wrong with a Celtic team and Brendan Rodgers, he's been led by stats too much. And when you look at the way that some of the games were going in the Champions League, the whole dominance of play and keeping the ball, we seem to be reverting to trying to get the ball forward as fast as we can now. But Brendan Rodgers seems stuck in his ways with trying to play a certain style of football. Hopefully tonight is the night. Blocking out the negativity, I'm just going with let's see, attitude. Yeah, tell me in the comments what your expectation is for the game tonight. Is it a massive win? Is it a comfortable win? Is it a sloppy win? Is it just don't get beat scenario where at least we're still within a shout? Because let's face it, I mean, it is a competition. If we don't get to the latter stages of the Europa, it will be a bad season. You know, getting last year to the playoff position in the Champions League was fantastic. And we came up against the German side that it was always going to be very difficult to beat. But we've said for years at Celtic, that the Europa is our level. I don't think that some of the players that we've got at Celtic at the moment, I don't even think that the Europa is their level. I think Conference League is maybe some of the players that came into Celtic's level. And that's sad. There's a sad indictment on what is going on at the club at the moment. But yes, we need to block out negativity and just go with, let's just see, attitude. What changes will he make, if any, if he wants to change it, but also the stability? I think a maximum of 2 changes. Hopefully it's Ralston for Donovan and Hatate out too. I cannot see what Brendan Rodgers... Yes, Hatate is a good player. But turning it on for 10 minutes towards the end of the game isn't good enough for Celtic. Too many players hiding on the pitch. What I don't want to see if Hatate does play, you see him getting the ball, and instead of him turning round and trying to go forward, he turns back and passes back, and then he runs away out to the wing. And you're thinking, the fuck is he doing that for? I mean, he's basically hiding for the ball. He's not moving into a position that's free of space. He's running into a position where there's usually a couple of players sitting, which makes it difficult for you then to give him the reverse pass, because you're thinking, Rio, you've got 2 players standing on either shoulder of you. Now, he either knows what he's doing and he's very clever about it, or he's just not thinking the game through at all, and he just thinks that he's doing what he thinks is right, and he's not playing the squad game. Maybe that's what's going on. Bad statistics in life for determination of expected outcome. No, I just think that I always follow the stats on what Celtic's possession is and the percentage passing. You can tell when Celtic are having a really bad game because the percentage passing completion is normally down. But we've had that many games where it's been around about 84, 85 recently, and you can see what the outcome's been. But then there's a lot of times when Celtic win games that it is up there in the 90s. That's all I'm saying. Won't care how bad it looks as long as we get the result and the 3 points. Yeah, I think that's all that matters tonight, is getting the 3 points on the board. Do you know, it is the Europa. It is still a competition. And if anybody says that they're not bothering about Europa, I've never known Celtic within their history, and Celtic fans within their history, to not be bothered about a European football match. Because if that's the case, let's stop talking about 67 altogether. That's in the past. Let's never bring that up again. Because if we're bothered about what happened in 67 and we want to celebrate that, we should be using that as a motivation for players. And maybe we need to be using it more. But then maybe that's the coach. Maybe that's the manager. Do you know? And maybe the expectation levels of the players do not meet what Celtic. I think back to Ange Postecoglou when he was in charge, and he was talking about, we were linked with a player. I can't remember what it was, but we were linked with a player, and the manager, Ange, got on the phone with them, and Ange was asked why the deal fell through. And Ange went, I pulled the plug on it. I didn't feel it. I got on the phone with the lad, getting into the mindset of the player, what his expectations were in football, what his aspirations were, how he felt that he could improve the team, how he felt he could improve the player, how he felt he could improve as a player. And when you put it up, and I think that's what's wrong at Celtic just now. I don't know if Brendan Rodgers is going that deep into the conversations when we're bringing in players. He's obviously been given a list of players, and he must be looking at it as going, is this the best that we can do? Do you know? And the under-enthusiasm of Brendan Rodgers just now is something that I've never seen without his time. But let's hope that he says that he is motivated, and he's motivated to get the players better. Brendan has no intention to change, so it's going to be the same team as Sunday. Do you think it'll be... If it's the same team as Sunday, we're fucked. If he puts out Rio Hatate in midfield, which I think he will, we're fucked. And if it's Yang... If Yang starts the game, fuck me. But anyway. I think we can win this game, says Thomas. At least Teneke's trying to take on his man. How long before he's that's coached out him? Oh. Do you think that we're coaching... I don't think that we're coaching out players taken on. Drag out arses through qualifying and hope they spend in January. I think that we are going to spend in January. I think we will spend in January. Dyson Maeda is injured. Dyson Maeda is not in contention for the team tonight. He's still out injured, hoops. Dyson Maeda has a sore back. He has a tightening of his back. Alistair Johnston is in contention tonight. So do you start Alistair Johnston with no game time? This is the big one. Morning, Kaiser. Baz, for no other reason than Sturm Grants will not play the low block. I think we'll win 2-0. Same team as Sunday, bar Yang. He's dead to me, lol. I think that if Yang's... I mean, Brendan Rodgers has come out and said, look, that's on me. It's on me that Yang started. It's on me that Yang isn't performing. Do you know? He's a player that doesn't look interested. When you look at him at training, he doesn't look interested. Do you know? Well, you see, and this is the thing that's going on in my head is when you see pictures of Rio Hatate in training, he's all smiles and everything. Do you know he's happy? So he's happy at Celtic. He's one player that you could say, but why isn't that going on to the pitch? I mean, we all know that. I think that Dyson's pulling the wool over the Celtic eyes just now. I mean, people were saying it was a strain on his foot, it was a thigh strain, it was a hamstring, and now he's got a tightening on his back. How do you have a tightening on your back? Did you lift the weight the wrong way, Dyson? I'd definitely take the risk with Alistair Johnson with no game time, getting some play in training. I'm sorry, but he's a professional football player. Shouldn't be hard for him, says Michelle this morning. Alistair Johnson needs to start, and I think if Alistair Johnson is playing and Tenek is playing, Rio's pissed off as well because his pal didn't get his move. But then again, it was tipped that Rio was going to be leaving in the summer anyway. But when you see him in training, you could see the players. I mean, there's no pictures of Dyson Maeda in training. You know, he's pulling a proper sickie. You know, he's not pulling I've got a hangover sickie. Dyson's pulling I'm fucking out for weeks, mate. My back's fucked. I'm on the social, boss. He's Dyson's pulling a proper sickie. Celtic players will be playing not only the opposition but the referees, VAR, and mostly negative from some fans. Negativity. Maeda's been clinching. Feeling negative about tonight and the weekend. Our players meant to click together. If he changes it every week, we do not have a set 11 who start games. Well, we kind of do. We've got a settled midfield 3 that kind of start most games. We've got a back 4 that have been kind of starting. You've got Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales who've started all season. So you've got the back there. You've got Casper, not so clean sheet Schmeichel. You remember when we called him that? Casper clean sheet Schmeichel. Anyway, Rio can piss off at this point. He's still no wage. He'll never turn this around. Oh, Lawrence really. That's brutal this morning. Time to drop Callum. Drop Kaiser, CCV, Callum, and Rio, but then bring in whom? Bring in who? Because I think if you drop, who do we have that's better than Cameron Carter-Vickers at the back? I'm not too sure about that one. I'm not too sure about that one at all. It's a good idea. You know, I could see where you're getting at, but I think that if you drop Cameron Carter-Vickers, I do think that who do you bring in? Do you bring in Austin Trusty? Can we win the game tonight? Is the poll. We've had 123 votes. 76% say yes, 33% say no. And since it will be one of the first games of real darkness, will the Celtic fans en masse don the lights on their phones on the 67th minute of the game to sing that iconic song, In the Heat of Lisbon? And with their phones on. CCV is a liability. Yes, I said it. Kaiser says Trusty. CCV would be better than VAR. You can count on one hand the CCV mistakes in 5 seasons. Interesting. Michelle brings in Dane Murray for Cameron Carter-Vickers. Dane Murray and Liam Scales. Liam pull the shirt Scales. Birthday card purse. Trusty or toys are rusty. Why don't they chant sack the board on the 67th minute? I'm sure that the Celtic fans collective will have something in mind for tonight, but I just want the fans to try and back the team on a European context. Do you know, I think even... Yes, you need to keep the pressure on the board, but I think that we really need to... And yes, Brendan Rodgers has said it. Look, we need to have a team performance that makes the fans excited. You know, is CCV ever fit? Murray, Paulo, McCown would do better than Casper, CZ, Callum and Rio. Would they on the European stage though? I suppose if you don't try them, on the big stage, I mean, Brendan Rodgers will go who he thinks his best players are. But anyway, when you look at it, I mean, there's a player that's came in at Celtic in the summer, in Benji, and he was meant to be a fantastic winger, and we don't seem to find his best position. I don't think he's a winger. I think he's a number 8. But then Paulo Bernardo needs game time. It wouldn't surprise me tonight. Can you remember when Brendan Rodgers, he wasn't using Paulo Bernardo on a weekly basis, but he would use Paulo Bernardo on the European stage, and you're thinking, this is where this lad's meant to play. Do you know, this is the level that he sees himself at. He's came through the ranks of Benfica. He's the Portuguese under-21 captain. Is Paulo Bernardo the man to come on instead of Rio Hatate tonight? And put Paulo Bernardo in that holding midfield role and allow Callum to go into the left and be a little bit more further forward. Breaking news, the game is cancelled tonight due to lack of interest. No, it's not. Brendan will play his pals. CV has scored a few on goals. Mistakes are compounded. Yeah, I think Carter Vickers has scored 3 own goals at Celtic in 5 years. But how many times has Cameron Carter-Vickers pulled out an absolute wonder save, a wonder tackle? Do you know? And people don't look at that because I'll give Cameron Carter-Vickers his due. He has made some fantastic saves for us. Get Bernardo, and defence isn't the problem. It's a slow building from the back, no cutting edge, no one willing to take on a player. This is true. And that comes down to the defence, though. That comes down to the players just not being good enough to go forward. Anyway, always when we need them, at least, though. It's all about scoring first tonight. Confidence is flimsy. Celtic to win 3-1. 3-1. Anyway, let's jump on to the poll and see what the poll is doing this evening. This morning, I'm getting the days all mixed up. It's the sun. It's 29 degrees yesterday. It's far too hot this time of year. Right, let's end that poll on 132 votes. We'll end that. And Paulo should be playing more, but can't expect him to play a bit part here and there. Expect him to be our saviour. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Can we get a big European moment tonight? Let's hope that we can. We do need a big European moment, and hopefully that this is the boost. Because if we don't get the win and if we don't get the boost, it could be a hard week for Celtic fans. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic morning, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world. Remember, I will be back live an hour and a half before the game tonight, and we'll sit there with anticipation to find out what team Brendan Rodgers puts out this evening.